There are many truths about aging, but most people only talk about the surface, the wrinkles, the medications, the birthdays. Today, I invite you to explore 6 quiet, unspoken truths about aging after 80, not to fear them, but to meet them with wisdom and compassion. I'm not here to give advice or tell you what to do. I simply want to sit here with you as a friend and reflect on what aging really feels like. It's not just about illness, not only the wrinkles or the pills. It's something quieter, a slight shift in the heart, a pause that lasts longer between conversations, or that moment when you're talking and suddenly forget what you were going to say. Aging doesn't just change the body, it makes us see life with new eyes, deeper, more honest, and yes, sometimes lonelier. But within those changes, if we look with awareness, we might find something else. A new opportunity, an invitation to slow down, to live more deeply, to return to ourselves. These truths aren't here to alarm you. They're here to gently awaken something within. Some may feel heavy, but if we meet them with compassion, they become quiet steps toward a more peaceful life. If you've noticed changes in your body, mind, or heart, please remember, you're not behind. You're simply learning to live with more awareness than ever before. 1. Small health issues become big ones. There was a time when a good night's sleep could fix anything. Now, a small bruise on the knee might leave you resting for an entire week. Have you felt that too? Maybe it's a mild cold, or one misstep on the stairs, just a few steps. But it takes you a month to recover. Old age doesn't knock loudly. It arrives quietly from within. The body, once your loyal companion, starts to feel unfamiliar. A scratch that once needed a quick rinse now requires daily care. A tiny stumbleno, broken bones, but your balance is off for weeks. Some mornings, without any clear reason, you wake up exhausted. Simple things like making tea or folding blankets feel heavy. It's not just physical decline. What tires us most is that silent feeling, like your own body is betraying you. You were once strong. You tended the garden, drove across states, cared for the whole family. Now, you need help getting to appointments, take cautious steps on smooth floors, and even standing from a chair takes extra effort. That feeling is a deep grief. A part of you wants to scream, "I used to be able to do everything." But in the light of the Buddhist teaching, there's a gentle truth. This body is not truly ours. It is borrowed, temporary. The Buddha compared the body to bubbles, to lightning flashes. What is born will age, fall ill, and pass away. This is not your fault. Suffering comes when we resist that truth, when we blame the body, push it, and demand it act like it used to. But if you can look at your body with compassion, as if caring for a little child, you may feel lighter. Let me share a story of an old Zen master. He couldn't walk far anymore. Each day, he took just a few slow steps around the temple courtyard. Someone asked him, "Do you feel sad, master? You used to travel everywhere. Now you just stay here." He smiled. "When I could walk freely, every step was a thank you. Thank you to these legs that carried me for so many years. Now, just one step, I still walk with gratitude." That's not weakness. That's a deep transformation of how we see life. You don't have to force yourself anymore. You can start again by loving this body as it is, right now. Drink water when you feel thirsty, and wait for your throat to dry. Rest when you're tired. Don't push for just a few more minutes. Walk slowly, but walk with awareness. This is how we practice mindful living through the body, just as the Buddha taught in the Satipatthana Sutta. Where are you on this path? Are you frustrated that your body isn't what it used to be? Or have you started to smile and care for it more gently? Leave a comment below. I'm learning to love my body one day at a time. Your words may become a ray of light for someone quietly struggling. You are not weak. You are learning a new kind of strength, the strength of kindness, acceptance, and mindful presence. 2. Your social world slowly shrinks. There are sounds that used to be familiar, and now they've gone quiet. There was a time when your mornings began with phone calls. Afternoons included walks with friends. Evenings ended with someone asking, "How are you doing today?" But lately, silence is what fills the air. Silence in the house. Silence in your phone. Silence in relationships that once felt close. And you begin to wonder, am I still part of anyone's life? A dear friend has passed. A neighbor you once shared tea with has moved to a nursing home. Your children and grandchildren still love you, but their lives are full, and the calls don't come as often. You slowly grow used to days with no one reaching out. Meals with no one asking how you are. No one is to blame. It's just that the circles of connection once wide begin to shrink and fade. At first, it's not even sadness. It's an emptiness. A quiet ache that shows up each afternoon. You start to fear weekends because everyone else has plans, and you are left with just yourself. You don't blame anyone, but you wonder, am I fading from the world? Yet the Buddha offers a gentle reminder. One who dwells within themselves with pieces, never truly alone. He spent years in the forest, alone, no companions, no conversations. And in that stillness, he found the highest peace. Because what truly makes us lonely isn't the lack of people, but the lack of presence with our own heart. There's an 84-year-old woman living alone in California. Each morning, she pours a cup of tea, sits before the mirror, and says, "Good morning, my best friend." Someone asked her, "Don't you feel lonely?" She smiled. "If I can't love myself, then even if people visit, they're just passing by." She doesn't live alone. She lives with herself, and that is enough. You may not be able to hold on to all the relationships of the past, but you can begin a very important one with yourself. Try this. Pour tea each morning and sit with your breath. Recite a short Buddhist verse to reconnect with the Dharma. Write a note of gratitude to yourself. Or simply, smile gently when you see your reflection and say, "I'm still here, I'm still living." This isn't a solution to fight loneliness. It's a way to transform loneliness into peace and depth. Are you going through days where the phone no longer rings? Have you ever stared out the window, hoping someone would arrive, only to be met by wind and sunlight? If you're living in that stillness, ask yourself, am I truly with myself right now? And if anything in this video speaks to you, leave a comment. I choose to befriend myself, because maybe your words will touch someone who is quietly struggling too. Not everyone lives to be 80. Not everyone gets the chance to sit quietly and look inward. You do. And if the outer world is slowly shrinking, perhaps it's time to open up the inner world, where stillness, mindfulness, and gratitude wait for you. 3. When the mind feels foggy. Have you ever walked into a room and suddenly stopped in the doorway, confused, asking yourself, "Wait, why did I come in here?" Or maybe you were telling your grandchild a story, and then suddenly you paused. Not from emotion, but because you forgot what came next. Have you ever felt that way? Don't worry, you're not alone. This is incredibly common as we move into our 70s, 80s, and beyond. Memory used to be like a suitcase holding everything. Names of loved ones, childhood memories, bank passwords, recipes, even your favorite poems. But now, that suitcase seems harder to open. You still remember, but not completely. You still think, but the thoughts come more slowly. And sometimes, those looping thoughts make your mind feel exhausted. You're not as sharp as you once were. And maybe you've started to feel afraid. Afraid you're slipping away from reality. Afraid others will think you're forgetful, not the same anymore. Afraid that one day, you might not be able to take care of yourself and become a burden. That fear is real, but you don't need to run from it. In the Buddha's teachings, There's a beautiful image of the mind. The mind is like a lake. Sometimes it's clear, sometimes it's cloudy. But murky water doesn't need to be stirred. Just be still, and it will settle. You don't need to force yourself to remember. You don't need to pressure your mind to be clear. Just try, sitting quietly with your breath. And you'll realize even when memory fades, awareness is still present. The story of Mr. Walter and the pencil. Mr. Walter, 82, lives alone in the suburbs of Seattle. He used to be a school teacher, strict, but kind. He remembered every student's name, every poem, every parent-teacher meeting. But after turning 80, his memory began to slip. One day, he opened the fridge for milk, then stood still for 5 minutes, forgetting what he was doing. Another day, he picked up a pencil to write a birthday card to his granddaughter, but couldn't recall how to spell congratulations. At first, he panicked. I was a teacher. I taught children to write, and now I forget words. He sat in his kitchen, gripping the pencil, angry, ashamed, and finally, silent. That day, he didn't write the card. He simply wrote one sentence in an old notebook. Maybe I can't remember everything, but I can still be kind. From that day on, Mr. Walter started a new habit. Each morning, he would write one small act of kindness he planned to do. Today, I'll call my friend from yoga class. Today, I'll mail a thank you note to the young man who helped push my cart. Today, I'll smile at the newspaper boy and call him by name. And strangely enough, when he stopped fighting his memory, his mind began to feel clearer. Not because he remembered more, but because he wasn't afraid anymore. When you forget something, don't blame yourself. Maybe that forgetfulness is a gift in disguise. Sometimes memory clings to what no longer serves us. Old wounds, past mistakes, things that make us sigh when we recall them. So if you forget a little today, maybe it's impermanence, giving you a chance to feel lighter. You don't need to remember everything. You just need to be present in this moment. Instead of thinking, I'm forgetting the important things, try this. I'm learning to remember what truly matters, like birdsong in the morning, the scent of warm tea, and the gratitude that I'm still breathing. If your mind feels foggy lately, please don't be afraid. You're not lost. Clouds don't erase the sky. With the light of mindfulness, the path becomes clear again. And the best part is, that light is already within you. Let's try one gentle practice today. Sit quietly for 3 minutes each morning. Close your eyes, place your hand over your heart, and whisper, I'm grateful for this body and mind, foggy or clear. You don't need a perfect memory. You just need loving kindness for yourself. If you've ever forgotten, ever felt lost, ever feared that you're not who you once were, know this: you are not alone. Many older adults just like you are walking this path with courage and a smile. Leave a comment below. I'm learning to smile even when my mind feels foggy. Your words might warm the heart of someone else, someone who forgot something today too. 4. When others start speaking for you. Have you ever sat among your children or grandchildren and no one asked what you wanted to eat? Have you gone to the doctor's office and the physician looked at your daughter instead and said, what symptoms does she have? You're right there. You're still present, still aware, but somehow your voice doesn't seem to be heard anymore, as if age has started answering all your questions for you. You used to make the decisions for the whole family. You handled the schedules, the bills, the parenting. But now, your kids schedule your appointments without asking. Family decisions are made without your input. And when you try to give advice, someone gently says, Mom, just rest, we'll handle it. You smile, but something quietly fades inside. No one means to hurt you. They do it out of love, out of concern, because they want you to relax. But what they don't realize is this: when others speak for you too often, you begin to doubt your own voice. You still know what you need. You're still capable of feeling, deciding, and choosing, But that respect seems to be slipping away. And you wonder, am I still in charge of my own life? The Buddha once said, "Be your own island, be your own refuge." No one else can live your life. And no one should make decisions for you if you're still capable of making them. But you don't need to raise your voice in anger to reclaim it. A calm and steady presence is the most powerful voice of all. Speak your needs with clarity, not frustration, not sadness. Because mindfulness carries weight even when spoken softly. Mr. Donald and the Flower Pot. Mr. Donald, 78, was once a soldier, then a railroad engineer. Now he lives with his family. After a minor stroke, his daughter began organizing everything for him. Meals, medications, even his walking schedule. One day, he wanted to tidy up a corner of the kitchen where he kept his small flower pot. His daughter said, "Dad, don't worry about that, it's not necessary." He didn't argue. But the next morning, he went to the kitchen, trimmed the leaves, changed the soil, and cleaned the tiles around the pot. Someone asked him, "Why go through all that trouble for something so small?" He smiled. "I'm not trying to prove anything. I'm simply saying I'm still here, and I can still choose how to care for something no matter how small every day." You don't need to rebel. You just need to affirm your presentially. When someone asks, speak from the heart. When no one asks, speak up with no blame, no bitterness. When you feel overlooked, smile and do what's right, no permission needed. Because only you truly understand what life feels like inside of you. Try this simple practice. Write down one decision you want to make for yourself today, like what to eat or your morning routine. Gently share it with your family. "I'd like to choose this because I still enjoy doing it." Write this in your journal. "I'm still living and I deserve to be heard." You don't need to do something grand. You just need to keep your roots grounded, like a tree standing firm in the wind. Have you ever felt like others are deciding things for you? Are you starting to feel like your role in your own life is fading? Leave a comment below. I'm learning to speak again with kindness and strength. That one simple sentence may help someone else. Someone who's quietly trying to find their voice again. Aging does not mean silence. Aging means speaking less but saying more. Not speaking loudly but speaking with meaning. And most of all, you still know best what's truly good for you. 5. Life feels less like a climb and more like a return. There may come a time when you suddenly realize you no longer need to strive. No more big goals. No more distant trips. No more future plans waiting on the horizon. Life starts to feel smaller. But is that really the case? In our younger years, we lived like waves, always rising, reaching, proving we were alive. You may have once been a leader at work, a devoted parent, a dependable friend. You stayed up late, drove long hours, managed everything. Everyone needed you and you showed up. But now, in your 80s, something subtle has shifted. You can't stay up as late. You're no longer excited by packed schedules. Fewer things need your decision. Each day now centers around simple routines. A quiet meal, a warm cup of tea, an afternoon nap, a soft sigh at dusk. And sometimes you wonder, is my life becoming smaller? At first, you might feel a little lost, like a bird once soaring high now, perched quietly in the nest. You ask yourself, do I still have value? Is there anything I can still do? Am I truly living or just existing? These feelings are real. They come from the natural changes of aging and the shifting roles we once held. You're not being asked for help as much, and it can feel like you're becoming lighter, not in body, but in influence. But then, you pause, and suddenly you realize, it's not that life is shrinking, it's that the self that always expanded is gently returning inward. The Buddha taught, act without attachment, live without clinging. This is the path. You no longer need to charge forward. Now, every step can be a walking meditation. Every gaze, a silent blessing. Every still moment, filled with life. The woman who knitted for her breath. There's a woman in her 80s who lives alone in a small wooden house in Oregon. Each day, she does one thing. She knits scarves. No one orders them. No one buys them. No one asks for them. But she sits there, hands moving, eyes smiling. Her granddaughter once asked, "Grandma, who are you knitting for?" She replied, "For my breath. With each stitch, I offer my gratitude. For today I can still sit, still breathe, still touch the softness of yarn that feels like life itself." When the scarf is finished, she folds it and places it in a box. One box, then two, then three. No one takes them, but not a single one is wasted. Because for her, living each day without needing to prove anything is a day fulfilled. So if you're sitting in a quiet room, if you no longer have big plans like before, if you feel yourself slowing down more than ever, please know this: you're entering a new kind of life. One that's deeper, gentler, and full of mindfulness. Look at the leaf swaying outside the window. Feel your breath rising and falling. Notice the little bird that just flew by. None of that is important work, but all of it is the miracle of life unfolding. Life is no longer a race. You don't need to be better than anyone. You don't need to prove anything. Now is the time to simply be yourself. No more roles to play. No more expectations to meet. Just breathe. Just smile. Just sit quietly with your tea. And know that this simplicity is the kind of life so many young people are still chasing. Life is no longer about conquering. It's about coming home to your truest, calmest, most grounded self. If you are still alive today, then you still have something beautiful to offer this world. You are not fading. You are shining in the quietest, most radiant way. 6. When memories become a place of refuge. Maybe you no longer remember what day it is today, but you still remember the smell of your mother's cooking when you were 10. You still hear in your heart the first cry of your newborn child. You still picture your life partner's face as if they had just been sitting beside you yesterday. And on quiet afternoons, when the ticking clock seems louder than anything else, memories come back, like a gentle stream, cool and soothing, flowing through your heart. You often find yourself reminiscing. A familiar old song brings tears to your eyes. An old photo leaves you sitting in silence. The past feels closer than the present. What has passed seems more vivid than what's happening now. It's not that you don't love the present. It's just the past still lives within you, familiar, safe, and warm. In your memories, you see yourself again, stronger, more vibrant, with a greater sense of purpose. You see loved ones who are no longer here. You remember a time when life felt whole, warm, and full of hope. And so, memories become a place to return to for comfort, for the feeling that I am still whole. But sometimes you may ask yourself, am I living in the present or only in the past? The Buddha taught, the past is a dream beautiful, but unreachable. No matter how lovely, what has passed exists only in the mind. If we live in it too long, we make no space for new light, for the gift of now. Memories are like flowers, beautiful to look at, but not meant to be held too tightly. And if you can look at your memories with gratitude, rather than regret, they become teachers, not burdens. Grandma Helen and the Journal of Letting Go. Grandma Helen, 83, once lived with her husband in Ohio. After he passed away, she spent a lot of time rereading old letters, flipping through photo albums, remembering every phrase, every trip, every tender moment. At first, this brought her comfort, but over time she began to feel stuck, like she was living in an old house no longer warm, but too dear to leave. One day, she started a new practice, journaling. but not to hold on. She wrote to let go. Each night, she would write down the one memory that stood out most that day. Then she'd close the notebook, place her hand over her heart, and say, "Thank you. I remembered today. But tomorrow I choose to live more lightly." She didn't forget her memories. She simply learned to set them down after smiling at them. You're allowed to remember. You have every right to. But you also have the right not to be trapped in those memories. Try this. When a memory arises, instead of sinking into it, smile and take a mindful breath. Write down what you remember. Fold it like a letter and let it go like a quiet farewell. Thank your memories, but also welcome the present moment. Because the present is the only moment you can truly touch with your heart. Are you spending much of your time in the past? Are there memories that replay in your mind every day? Is there something you've been holding on to that you're ready to set down? If so, feel free to share in the comments. I'm learning to be grateful for the past and live for today. Maybe that one sentence will offer freedom to someone else who feels lost in their memories too. So together, we've walked through 6 quiet truths, the kind that don't shout, but speak deeply, especially as we age. Our bodies no longer heal the way they used to. Our relationships slowly fade. Our minds feel foggy at times. Our voices aren't always heard. Our past becomes a place we revisit often. And life is no longer about conquering, but about turning inward. If you see yourself in one or many of these truths, please know you are not alone. Everyone walks through these moments, but not everyone walks through them with peace and wisdom. The Buddha said, "We cannot stop the river of time from flowing, but we can learn to swim in it with mindfulness and compassion." Aging is not the end. It is a quieter season, but one rich with understanding and gentle love. If something in this video brought you clarity, relief, or even just helped you feel less alone, I'm deeply grateful you're here, that you listened, and that we walked through these reflections together. Feel free to leave a comment, a thought, a story, or simply a single line. I'm learning to walk through aging with awareness. I read every word you share, and I believe somewhere out there, those words are bringing comfort to another heart. I'll see you in the next video. And if this is something you'd like to walk with for a little longer, please click subscribe so we can continue this journey together. Gently, deeply, and with great humanity.